Angie's still here bothering me as we finish up 10-1. Let's keep working on this area of these polygons. Now, in this one, we're finding the area of a triangle. Okay. What is my formula? It's right here. We have the area of a triangle formula. Now, notice here they give you a whole lot of numbers, but we just need the base times the height. The numbers that you don't need are called distractors, so we don't really care what they are. I need a base, and I need a height. Well, what is this whole thing altogether? 12 plus 4 is 16. You're doing number 21. Okay? So we have the area equals 1/2, my base is 16, times my height, which is 5. And so you could do a couple of things. You could put this all in the calculator. You could just type it all straight in like this. 1/2 times 16 times 5. And it's 40. And that did all the math for you. We know the area here equals 40 feet squared. You guys got so lucky because 13 and 14 didn't print, which I don't know why it does that sometimes, but sometimes it won't print the pictures.
Wait,
all right? But let's look at 15 and 16 are going to be similar. In 16, they've given you the height. In 15, look for where a side is perpendicular. There's your perpendicular. So I have one side perpendicular to another. Don't make the mistake of using this 13. Okay? In 17 here, we have a parallelogram, so you should draw a parallelogram. And it has the sides that are 30 inches and 12 inches long. So we have one that's 30 inches and one that's 12 inches. The length of the height corresponding to the 30-inch base is 8 inches. So here, this is going to be 8. What is the length of the height that corresponds with the 12 inches? So we need to come down, and we're going to find that height. Remember, step 1 is to find the height that corresponds. So we know this base and this side go with this. So I know the area of this particular parallelogram is 30 times 8. Well, 30 times 8 is 240. So I know the area of that shape is 240 inches squared. The area of the shape is not going to change. Now I'm going to take this area and I'm going to find the height for this 12-inch side. So area is going to equal 1/2 the base times the height. I know my area, I just found it. 240 inches squared equals 1/2, and the base that they gave me is 12, and they want me to find the height. And then you would solve that. And let's see what you guys can do with that. See what you can do with that on your own. Now, in coordinate geometry, what this is asking you to do is find a grid. Now, if you have graph paper, this is a perfect place to look for that. And I'm going to whip out some graph paper, if I can find some to use. And of course, can I find any right now? No. Angie, could you go grab me a piece of graph paper off that back shelf, please? Since you're monopolizing me, I'm going to monopolize you.
I'm not.
And while she's doing that, let's go down here and look at 22 and 23. In 22, it wants us to find the area of each figure. Well, I have two shapes. I have this blue shape, and I have this red shape. Thank you, Angie. So we got to find the area of this, and it's a square, isn't it? Because all the sides are 15 and we have right angles. So it's 15 times 15, base times height. Well, 15 times 15 is 225. And that's centimeters squared. And now we have to find the area of the red shape, which is a triangle. And we know the area of that shape is 1/2 the base times the height. So Let's put that all in the calculator again. Remember to close your parentheses. 1/2, and I think it was 8 times 15. 8 times 15. And that is 60. So I know this area is 60. So I add them together, and that's centimeters squared. So 60 plus 225 is 285. And that's the area for the whole shape. See what you can do with 23. Let's go back up here to 18. This is the last problem I'm going to do to help you. And what they do is, notice that here they're giving me some pairs, and I'm going to be making a polygon in my coordinate plane. So I need to make an axis. And the largest number I've got is a 7. So if I go 7 down, 7 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is going to be, I usually go one more, this is going to be where my y-axis is, and this is going to be where my x-axis is, and I'm just guessing somewhere in the middle. Okay? Now, I want, looking at my plane, my order pair, -3, 1. So I have to go -3, so I'm going to go to the -3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and up 1. Right here is this point A, and it's -3, 1. Then I have B, which is -3, 1, 2, 3, up 4. 2, 3, 4. So right here, that's B, and it's -3, 4. And then I go to C, which is +7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and up 1. This is C, and this is 7, 1. And then we go to D, which is 7, 4. And I know this is 7 and up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's my polygon. Can you tell what shape it is? Well, you can do this a couple of ways. I'm going to do it the mathematical way. I know some of you would be tempted to cheat and just count the spaces, but I'm going to show you how to use the distance formula. R squared, which is the distance, equals the square root, I'm sorry, hang on, I was doing the wrong one. R squared is going to equal x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. Now the x and the y is one point, and the h and the k is the other. So I'm going to find the distance, or the length, of this line right here. Because if I find that one, and it matches with this one, then I know that that's going to be a congruent, they're going to be the congruent distance. So r squared is going to equal x, I'm just going to use 1 point here, -3 minus, and then I need to find my x on my other point, which is 7, squared, y minus my other y. So -3 minus 3 is going to give me a -10 squared. And then a plus 1, a minus 1 is going to be, a squared is going to be 1. I mean, that's 0. 0 squared is 0. So this is plus 0. So r squared equals 100. I take the square root of both sides. R equals 10. So I know the length of this line is 10. And now we need to find the length of the other sides. Now, as I look at this, I can tell that this top line is the same distance. And I'm sure you guys can see that too. So rather than going through and doing the distance formula for all of them, I'm just going to show you that that's 10. But let's do the distance formula right here for D to C. So the r squared equals, I know this first point is 7. Let me zoom out a little tiny bit because it's hard to get this all on one screen. Okay, this is 7. That's my x. And then I'm going to go to the other x. 7 minus 7 squared. And then we go to our y. So r squared equals 7 minus 7 is 0. 0 squared is 0. So I have 0 plus 4 minus 1, which is 3. So I know r squared equals 9. Take the square root of both sides. R equals 3. So I know this length is 3. And when I look, I can count and see this is 3 as well. So what shape do I have? Well, I have a rectangle. Another way you could have checked, if you were suspicious that this was a rectangle, you could have checked to see if the diagonals were congruent, the distance between these 2 points. You would have only had to do 2 problems, and you would have known that that was a rectangle. So you might just kind of keep those in your head and think about how to do that. It really does help to have some graph paper with you when you're doing these problems, because you don't know what points are going to line up where. So make sure you've got some graph paper to do those. All right, have a great week. I'll see you on Friday. Don't forget to do your parallelogram quiz. Study for that, and I'm going to leave that up for the, Angie's causing an earthquake here. I'm leaving the study guide up there on the assignment so that you can continue to review for your parallelogram master quiz. Thanks, have a great week.